Guys, it's really hard to start these videos because I really want to say good morning, but I don't know if you're watching this in the morning. You might be watching it in the afternoon. You might be watching it at 6 o'clock at night. I really hope not, because that means you've put off all of your work for the day for way too long. Anyway, this is class for March 26th, Thursday of our first week of virtual Delta Middle School. So I want to start out today's lesson by telling you how super proud I am of how awesomely you guys did on the discussion board for yesterday. People were using text evidence, people were explaining their text evidence, people were disagreeing but doing so in a respectful and positive manner. It was awesome. You guys were building on each other's conversations and each other's ideas, and I really enjoyed reading through those, and I hope that as we continue to do virtual school, that you guys will continue to develop your skills as discussion board posters and also just discussion havers, because the skills you're working on right now are the kinds of skills that you need to have in a face-to-face discussion as well. So great job, and keep up the good work on that. So our assignments for today. 1, you've got Reading Plus due on Sunday, so make sure that you're getting on top of that. Friday's assignment will probably be pretty small so that you'll have some extra time to work on Reading Plus tomorrow, just like a normal Friday. Then we have a vocab assignment for today over list 19. We also have some text evidence practice to go over for our article for the week, The Rise of Fandom. Finally, you always have the option to read. Yay, read. Okay, so vocab list 19 assignment for today. You ready? Here it is. Review. Review the 12 words that are on list 19. You don't have a quiz this week because obviously I can't control all of that, right? I can't control whether you have your vocab list up in another window and are looking back and forth and are cheating on your quiz, you know, things like that. So to remove that temptation from your life, we're not having a quiz this week, but we will still have a test over all 72 words that we cover this quarter at the end of the quarter. So please make sure that you're staying on top of your words so that you don't have to cram all at the end, right? So a couple of ways that you can use to review for your vocabulary list for this week. You can go to Quizlet and review there. Our class Quizlet is available at the link at the very bottom of announcements on our Canvas page. If you haven't already joined the class, if you've joined the class, then you should be able to just log into yours and get to list 19 from there. Another option you have is Blooket. Blooket has a couple of fun new game modes out right now. There's a seasonal one. It's Shamrock Rush is what it's called. And then you also have the Tower of Doom, which is a solo player, homework only kind of game, and you can play that obviously on your own. And so if a few of you guys wanted to get together, one of you host a game so that everybody can play Blooket together, you can do it that way. I'm also planning to host a Blooket game or two during my conference calls on Thursday, today. So if you want to get on between 10 and 1, you should probably get on between 10 and 11 and 1 and 2. Those are when my conference hours are. So if you want to get on during those times, I'll set up games so that you guys can play a whole bunch of you together, because I know that sometimes it crashes the site if one of you guys is trying to host and play on the same device. So to make that a little bit easier and to give us the opportunity to kind of all get together and work on something, feel free to log into those conference hours between 10 and 11 and 1 and 2 to review for your vocab. Let's see. That brings us to the rise of fandom. So what we're working on today is text evidence. So I just want to go over a few things, and this will sound very much like review, but that is what it is supposed to sound like. This is review, okay? So let's review what is text evidence and how do we use it. So first of all, text evidence is using words or ideas from a source that will help to make your point, right? It's evidence to support your point that came from a text that you read. hence text evidence. Make sense? So there are two ways that we use text evidence in our writing. One is directly quoting the text, and so that's you take the author's words exactly as they appear in the text. This is a problem we've been having. I've been seeing it several places where we don't take the exact words. We kind of sort of paraphrase it, but put quotation marks around it. You only put quotation marks around words that came directly from the original text. Okay, so that's text evidence, method number one. Number two is paraphrasing. So that's where you take the source's idea, right, and you put it in your own words. You're potentially taking like an entire paragraph and summing it up in one little sentence, right? But regardless, whether you directly quote information from an original source or whether you paraphrase it without quotation marks, by the way, if it's your words, no quotation marks, okay? So whether you quote or paraphrase, you have to cite your source. You have to give an author's name or an article title, something along those lines. Author's name is always best if you have it, right? Author's name, page number if you have it. If you don't have page numbers, you probably do have paragraph numbers, or you could number so that you have paragraph numbers. We are dealing with page numbers today, so we don't need to worry about paragraph numbering, okay? So then the question is, how do I use text evidence? Well, here we go. First, choose a section of text that supports the point that you're trying to make. Decide whether you're going to directly quote it or paraphrase it, and choose what it is that you're going to put in your text to support your ideas. All right, so far so good? Then what we have to do is make sure that we clearly cite our source. Particularly if you are directly quoting the text, you need to make sure that you use a signal phrase. And that signal phrase, something like Kristen Lewis explains, that's something that you could use for this particular article because Kristen Lewis did write it. So you would use that signal phrase to transition your reader from your words to the source's words. Okay? So again, that should be review, but a few of us need a little reminder on that, I'm finding after grading your most recent essays. Okay? Then the last thing that you need to do when you're using text evidence is make sure that you explain the relevance of the evidence, of the text evidence that you're using. If you don't explain how it relates to the topic sentence, the point that you're trying to make, the claim that you're making, then it didn't really do you any good, right? There's no need to use text evidence if you're not going to explain how it relates to the point you're trying to make. So always make sure that you're including an explanation along with your text evidence. So that brings us to the actual assignment for this, okay? So you'll find the PDF in the assignment FAN TE. FAN as in fandom, TE as in text evidence, okay? So that's the title of the assignment, and then you'll find the PDF in that assignment. Here's important information. And this is information you're only getting if you're watching this video or reading the notes. So it's really important that you guys continue to watch these videos or read the lesson notes so that you make sure that you have all of the information you need. You ready? Here's the information you need. I only want you to answer questions 1 through 5. I do not want you to write the paragraph that is required for question number 6. Okay? Does that make sense? Only 1 through 5. You don't have to answer 6. So now you don't have to email me because I told you, right? So hopefully you're watching this video or reading the lesson notes. If you know that your friends aren't doing those things, please make sure that you let them know that they should, okay? Because this is a good way to not do more work than you have to. Once you have finished questions 1 through 5, giving a good explanation anytime that an explanation is required, all right? Like that's how you're getting out of the paragraph at the end, is because you better be giving me good explanations throughout, right? After you finish that, saved your responses, because we've been having some weird issues where things aren't coming through correctly on Canvas. So please make sure that you save your responses and then submit that PDF through Canvas, through the Canvas assignment. So Really quick review of what we've gone over today. Review vocab list 19 using Quizlet or Lookit, or I don't know, make yourself some flashcards if you want, but review for your vocab. Then download and answer questions 1 through 5 of the FAN TE questions. If you have the B option for that assignment, take the B option. Finally, you do have Reading Plus due by midnight on Sunday, so please make sure you're keeping on top of that. And of course, as always, don't forget to read. See you tomorrow.